Ich heiße Paige Hamilton. Da, 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 da. Hörst du gern Helmet? It's never been motivated by fashion. Helmet. It's always been motivated by sort of my love of playing heavy music, and from day one, that's the way it was. And I think if you maintain that, that attitude and that path, then you're always going to be fine as a musician. The minute you're concerned with the sort of fashion trends or what's going on around you stylistically, then you're probably going to be done. There are times when I'm exhausted and I feel like I don't want to do it anymore, because it's very exhausting touring. I'll have a month away from it and think I could get used to just being home, and then I go play and I go, oh yeah, that's right, I love doing this. So I'm going to do it as long as I'm physically capable, I lived in Germany as a student in Stuttgart, and I had a friend who was obsessed with Nick Cave, and Nick Cave lived in Berlin. And there's that Wim Wenders film, Wings of Desire, that the Bad Seeds were in. And she was always asking me to say stuff to her in German, or asking me this or that. And she said, jokingly, you should call the band Helmut. And I thought it was hilarious. And I was just like, the light bulb finally went off. And I was like, Helmet. It's good. It's a good word. It represents the music. The helmet is this odd kind of entity that straddles several genres. I mean, we played on the Warped tour. There's the Wild Dogs are roaming here in the abandoned mall. That we played on the Warped tour with the kind of that emo punk rock contingent of Anti-Flag and Thursday and Rise Against and those bands. And we played the year before that on the metal festivals, Rock am Ring and Rock am Park, with Motley Crue and Maiden and I don't even remember who else, Slayer. So it's, and we've played, in our early days with the AMRAP bands or touch and go bands or sub pop bands, with Nirvana to the Jesus Lizard and the Melvins. And so it's kind of, I love metal. I love some metal music, just like I love some, pop music. And it's not, I don't have anything against, but to call Helmet a metal band, I never really understood that. There's a bit of a metal attitude in there, but it's also kind of, I have weird chords, major 7 sharp 11 chords with no thirds and things that are not very heavy metal-esque, I don't play a lot of scales. I've learned scales and I know scales, but I utilize, whole tone diminished and altered dominant scales as opposed to maybe major and minor, and it's like, it's all in there. It's all the same 12 notes at the end of the day. It's just a matter of where you're coming from, what you hear, and how you try to express yourself. And I try to encourage young musicians to listen to music and listen when you're writing. Listen to the players you're playing with. Listen when you're writing right away from your instrument, not just play riffage. The riff can develop into something. It's a motif, a 2-note motif. And I've used the example that every musician should use a million times. Beethoven's Fifth Symphony is the best heavy metal riff ever. So when somebody writes something better than that, I'll let the world know. I'll tell everybody, hey, that's better than Beethoven's Fifth Symphony. It ain't never going to happen. If I get disheartened from time to time about the state of the music business, I think that's normal and natural. But as I said before, if the music isn't your main motivation for doing it, if love of playing music isn't your main motivation, then you're gonna probably want to quit. And so, I mean, to have other musicians say that they're inspired by or influenced by you is flattering,